Ah, how you doing? I'm Chocolate Amun Ra, and this is so special. I wanted to make this second special, or the second clip, because I'm thinking about, and I'm talking about black dollars, black stats. I'll be right back. Now I'm talking about black stats, the African American, by the numbers in the 21st century, by Monique W. Morris. Now the reason why I bring their name up is because the book has been written. Now, in the first part of my message, I was talking about Asian people, Jewish people, Latino people, and asking you why in the black community, why the dollars doesn't resurface or circulate and basically even stay there and generate. If you look at the black communities today from it was 20 years ago, some of the neighborhoods look like something out of the zoo. Especially in the projects. You know it's true, and I know it's true. I lived in the projects twice. Matter of fact, let me make it clear. I still live in the projects. I lived in the projects for many years. That's not how we started off. We started off living we had a home. My mother and father, we owned the home. Things didn't work out, so we wound up moving into the projects. Now, living in the projects is not a bad thing, but if you understand its economic source and its power, we talking about millions and billions of dollars that flourish through these projects. And what you will get is different establishments will build their company or their establishment in the black community. Now here's another thing. When you go 30 years back, I'm 50. You go 30 years back, those who's in 50 years old or 40 years old, if you can remember, when in the black community, we had the black barber shops, we had black stores, you even had black supermarkets. You had a lot of black-owned businesses 30, 40 years ago. You had a lot of black people who owned houses. Literally, you had a lot of black people who owned houses. Now, the problem we used to have was you had a lot of bad landlords. You had bad landlords who didn't take care of the houses. They let them just fade out. Let me tell you something. Then you had people who bought these houses, and some people moved to Florida, moved back down south where they come from. Say the president back in those days gave them $200,000. President says, okay, boom, because the house wasn't even worth that much when they bought it and fixed it up. So they never seen $200,000, $300,000 in their life. So $200,000, $300,000 was a lot of money. They went and took that money back down south and got themselves another house. They probably cost them less than $100,000. Got themselves a nice car, so on and so forth. Black people. We're not learning anything. Now, the only thing that you can brag about, per se, is, well, we have black entertainers. We have black athletes. The percentage is low when it comes to those numbers. It's low. How many black doctors do we have in our communities? how many black pharmaceuticals you have in our communities. And I'm not talking about the Indians either. I'm not talking about none of them. I'm talking about black American people. How many pharmaceuticals that we own? Okay, how many black pharmaceuticals trade, black people that trade, they take up to give you medicine that works behind that counter? How many black doctors have you seen in the last 20 years? Well, let me make it even better. Have you seen a black doctor in the last year or two? A black doctor. Don't give me the Indian doctors. Don't do it. A black doctor. Don't give me no black Jamaican nurse. A black, no. I don't want that. I want American black doctor. These doctors are not here in our cities. They moved out. Understand. The black money does not stay in the black communities because the black professional man and woman moves out the neighborhood. They move out because in their mind they want a better way of life. It is no different subconsciously. You get a young man or a young woman who's a great athlete. What's the first thing they think in their mind? I want to move out my neighborhood. Now, you had some black athletes who tried to come back into the neighborhood and fix the neighborhood, but guess what? When you get people who don't appreciate what you're trying to put back in, what would you think is going to happen to that man or woman who put in X amount of dollars from their own pocket to benefit the community? You remember MC Hammer? MC Hammer was worth millions of dollars. I think it was like 20-some million, might be more than that, a year or something. But anyway, matter of fact, it was more than that because his house was worth $21 million. I think MC Hammer was like worth $100 million, something like that. But to make my point, when things hit the fan for MC Hammer, all those people he employed disappeared. Why? None of these people could have got together and created their own business or helped MC Hammer to create a business so the money could continue flowing. Now, here is the insane thing. 18 cities here in America, was like Oklahoma or Tulsa, Oklahoma, when the community was black owned, literally, 18 cities was destroyed. But 18 cities existed that were black owned. Anything you can think of, a black person had it and owned it, and it was doing business overseas. Why do we let Korean people come in and bring in these wigs and these weaves? Thank goodness the Dominicans coming in and they're doing the same thing. But a lot of you do not want to go to the Dominicans. You will go to the Koreans and give your hard-earned money to them. You will complain and tell them, oh, I don't like their attitude. No, they just like you. They know how to deal with you. See, the Koreans will play quiet and get your money. They play nice with you and get your money. Listen, I'm Chocolate Amun Ra. It looks like it's going to be a part 3. But I'm going to show you this book. Black Stats. Buy this book. You can go to Barnes & Nobles. You can go to Amazon.com. Or you can probably buy it off a vendor in your community. The vendors who sell, you know, they sell unks and things like that, and African ornaments and African garments. I see you in part 3. Should be my last. Something to think about.